Hello, my name is Iris Thomas, and this is Sneaky Thoughts Thursday. Today, I will be interviewing expert on historical fiction literature, Hannah Ketch, on the prejudice in To Kill a Mockingbird, more specifically, the racial prejudice prevalent in makeup. Prejudice is a recurring subject throughout the novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. Throughout the story, the readers are able to comprehend the discrimination and prejudice against Black people, specifically Tom Robinson, which is who we'll be focusing on mainly. So Hannah, what exactly is prejudice?
Prejudice is when there is a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience.
So throughout the book, prejudice is displayed in the society. How is prejudice shown in the book?
Prejudice in Maycomb is shown against the Black men and women living there and Boo Radley. Some others are discriminated upon due to affiliation to Black people, such as Atticus and Mr. Adolphus Raymond.
So who in Maycomb society displays this prejudice?
Prejudice is mainly displayed by white people in Maycomb.
So can you give me an example of when prejudice is displayed in the book?
Yes, in To Kill a Mockingbird, there is a lot of prejudice directed towards Tom Robinson, a man accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. However, the readers learn that Tom is in fact innocent and the entire case is simply a convenient scapegoat to protect the real culprit, Mayella's own father. While talking to his brother about the case, Atticus says, "It couldn't be worse, Jack. The only thing we've got is a Black man's word against the Ewells. The jury couldn't possibly be expected to take Tom Robinson's word against the Ewells." This quote shows that the jury will not consider Tom's word in the end when the verdict needs to be determined, and that the Ewells will have an unfair bias advantage over Tom Robinson because of the color of his skin.
Are Maycomb citizens prejudiced against people that aren't Black?
Absolutely. People in Maycomb extend their prejudice even to those that are affiliated with Black people. For example, Atticus Finch defends Tom Robinson, a Black man, in a case regarding Mayella Ewell, a white woman. Francis, Atticus' nephew, says to Scout, "If Uncle Atticus lets you run around with stray dogs, that's his own business. Like Grandma says, so it ain't your fault. I guess it ain't your fault if Uncle Atticus is an end lover. Grandma says it's bad enough he lets you all run wild, but now he's turned out an end lover, we will never be able to walk the streets of Maycomb again. He's ruining the family, and that's what he's doing." This shows that even though Atticus is white, he runs the risk of ruining his reputation just because he's supporting a person of color. Since it is so taboo in Maycomb for a white person to support a Black person, the townspeople are unsure and quick to judge Atticus for his actions.
So how are the people that are prejudiced against affected, and how does it affect their lives?
The people that are affected by prejudice in Maycomb become isolated and figuratively get brushed under the rug. The Black people in Maycomb are isolated because of the Jim Crow laws that segregate them from the rest of the community. They all live in a small neighborhood, significantly separated from society. However, the most drastic example of how prejudice affects individuals is Boo Radley. Throughout his young life, many rumors were spread in Maycomb about things he had done, and people were quick to judge him and turn their back on him. Because of all the assumptions made about him, the minds of those in Maycomb were clouded by judgment and prejudice about Boo, which thus affected his own life. Boo became forced to stay within the limits of his house, controlled by the knowledge that he would be an outcast, discriminated, and isolated for the rest of his life.
So how do white people benefit from prejudice against others?
White people reap the benefits of prejudice against Black people in court. This is significantly due to the lack of Black representation in court, as there has never been Black jurors on any case. Additionally, due to the common belief of white people that Blacks are lesser humans and they should be treated as such, they are never in favor of any Black people on trial. Therefore, due to this prejudice, an unfair bias is created in which white people will always win in court whenever the case involves a Black person. For example, in Tom Robinson's case, every single juror voted him guilty, 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 guilty. However, the only probable reason that the jury voted Tom Robinson guilty was the color of his skin, because there was not enough evidence to prove that he actually committed the crime that he was accused for. Tom Robinson is Black, while Mayella Ewell, who is accusing Tom of sexual assault, is white. Therefore, in this type of situation, white people like Mayella Ewell will always benefit because prejudice will always cloud a white juror's vision and end up outweighing their actual duties to incarcerate the person who is guilty.
Wow, so it's certainly become clear what a big influence prejudice has on the people in Maycomb. The Black people in Maycomb and Boo Radley experience oppression and isolation in their society, while the white people experience no discrimination, but rather benefit from all this unfair social construct. Thank you so much, Hannah, for enlightening us about this very significant topic, and thank you all for joining us on this week's video. I'll see you all next week on Thinky Thoughts Thursday.